What's up, everybody? Concrete Zebra with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. Don't forget to swing by Studio1Tutorials.com, sign up for the one-day trial, and get yourself a hold of the 25 presets My Time Mafia Volume 1. Also, get you those Miami subs if you ain't got them already, and get access to, I think it's 6 or 7 videos up there that are not available on YouTube, all exclusive knowledge, all more in depth than most of the stuff that I do on YouTube. It is totally worth it, and people are eating it up right now. This is going to be part 1 of the tutorial. You'll be able to find the rest of the parts on Studio1Tutorials.com, but because this is such a cool track, and the main anchoring point to it is the melody, and it's a form of melody that I haven't went over before. I'm going to go over the most important part of this track first, which is the melody. Now let's listen to what we're going to be going over here, and I'll explain it. Now, what's going on there? That is a first of all, that is a interpolation of the Isley Brothers song "Ballad of a Fallen Soldier" or something. Jay-Z used it for his "In My Lifetime" Volume 2 was the track with Too Short just a week ago. The name of the song is just a week ago. They didn't make the song just a week ago, but it's like one of my favorite Jay-Z songs ever. The shit's real as fuck. But what's going on here is you have what's called, and this is I mean, you could look this up in a book. This is called the call and response melody writing method. And basically what it is you have 2 different motifs in the song. So you'll have your one, like this motif can be a chord, or it could be a succession of 3 notes or whatever, and then you have the other motif, and the way that it plays, the way that it sounds, it's like you have this one calling and this one responding, and then when you repeat that over and over through the course of the song, that's how you get the call and response feel. And now you know that call and response is an extremely effective way to reel people into music, because whenever you go to a concert, especially a hip-hop concert, at least once in the course of the night, the artist looks at the audience and they're like, now every time I say this, I want you to say that, or when I do this, you do that, and there'll be 30,000-40,000 people all responding to the artist, just because they're in a musical environment. So when somebody puts on a song, they're willingly going into a musical environment. And then once you start to use call and response techniques within your songwriting, then all of a sudden you're able to thoroughly engage someone. So the easiest way to do call and response, especially with a piano, and this doesn't have to necessarily be with one instrument. Like, one of the most effective ways of call and response, and it's actually done on a lot of older records, is you'll play a chord with a guitar and then respond with like some brass instrument, or respond with another guitar in a higher octave or something like that. So that's definitely something that you want to play around with. What we did here is the song's in A minor. We have our A minor chord here, which is the 1 chord in the scale, and then we have F major here. So that gives us a nice little walk down feel, a descending feel, but we kept the response melody the same. And all this is, these are the same notes, just playing in octaves against each other. So I'm gonna play this again and kind of get a feel for it now that you've got the call and response idea in your head. Now, to kind of sweeten the deal, what I did on the bottom, and this is what they did in the original song, is I have a pad playing the same chords, and then I have these two notes walking down, which this wasn't in the Lil Wayne song, but this is in the sample, and then this is just a week ago. So the way that I'm used to hearing this melody put together, these notes are in it. So I just wrote them in just to show you that this is also an option. When you're doing call and response, you notice that because what I did is I added an additional response right here. This is what we're doing, right? So you notice that these are the same notes over and over, and the only thing that's changing is the chords. When you're doing call and response, it's good. It's a good method to change your chords, because that's what's gonna give the vibe of the song. So if I, for instance, like the way that I have my chord progression going down like this, it kind of gives it a more somber tone, right? But say I change this chord progression, and I decided to go to, say, the four chord. Listen to what it does now. And let's see. I'll change my leading notes since it's walking up. All right, let's listen now. So again, that just goes to show that when you use the chords as the call, you can pretty much shape the vibe of the track, because you hear how it went from a more somber, reflective tone to now you're walking up, and it sounds more of a type of triumphant, inspiring type of thing. But yet the response was exactly the same. So keep in mind the response isn't really. I mean, it plays a part, but it's not going to drive the feel of the track. And when you're writing your response, you really want to make sure that you put a good one together, and it's catchy and hummable. That is the main thing. And if you can kind of master that in your tracks, and you could apply call and response to hip hop beat making, that you're gonna start to make hits. If you go back and look at some of the biggest records that have ever came out, and not necessarily sampled records in hip hop, but the ones that are composed, and you listen to the melodies, you're gonna find this technique a lot. I'm sorry it took so long to get around to it, but shout out to my boy Eddie on Twitter, who requested this tutorial, because this is if you can apply this and you're composing your own beats, this is gonna be a game changer.